Hey y'all, how you doing? It is, let's see, what is it, Tuesday? Yeah, I gotta get my life right. It is Terrific Tuesdays. I wanted to say Thankful Thursday so bad because it begins with a T. So that's what I wanted to do. But anyway, it goes. We here. We here, y'all. It is February, and I'm excited to be here. I am excited to be here with y'all. And this is the second month of 2021. Isn't that crazy? I know, like, we were just in 2020. I'm telling y'all, the time moves pretty quickly. So come in and say hi to me so I can know y'all here. We're gonna have a good time. We're gonna have a good time today. I'm excited about this topic, and I wanted to make sure. Hey, Jackie, how are you? I want to make sure that y'all coming in here, and we're gonna have being a part of the whole conversation. Because, like I told y'all, I could talk to myself. I'm really good with that. So I'm not on here to do that. So I don't know if any of you guys caught my post that I put out about how February is going to be about men's mental health. And I'm super excited about it because I get quite a few men that come on, and they have come on times before, and I've heard them say, or some say, or some people who watch who don't just come on regularly, they'll say things like, "Hey, what you do is mostly for women," and I'm like, I don't believe that to be true. I believe that the topics that I have are very universal. I think they apply to everybody. I don't talk about things that are only woman related. Maybe because I'm a woman, there might be some examples of things because I'm a woman that might seem like they fare more towards women. That's just because I don't live the man experience. However, I think that there are things that, like, we all like transgress this life, and we deal with. Like, we all have relationships. We all deal with, anxiety. We all deal with fear. We all deal with, all these emotions. So I don't believe that there's a woman topic per se. However, this month, y'all, y'all said it. I heard you. And instead of me, questioning or saying, hey, they don't, that, you're wrong, I'm going to say, I'm going to be very intentional about what I talk about in these next few weeks. Hey, Mom, how are you? Love you. And so that's what the goal is today, is to be super intentional. The goal is to have some conversations. And this month particularly, it is going to be geared toward talking to men and talking about that masculine energy. Hey, Michelle, girl, how are you? Hey, Tim. Hey, bro. And women, don't you feel bad? Because you guys can come on. Because let's be honest. We always say, like, back in the day, say men are from Mars and women are from Venus. I'm sure I got that mixed up. I don't know. But we always want to understand each other. And I think it's going to be good this month because it's like you can hear more from men, and we can talk more about issues directed directly at them. And then not only that, but women, invite your husbands, invite your brothers, invite and talk, if your kids are on, even your parents. Like, it will be helpful because sometimes we don't create the ability for them to have these conversations, and it's not always organic, right? It's not always, oh, it's just going to happen. No, it's like sometimes you got to make the conversation happen, right? And so that's what we're doing, but we're trying to do it in a fun, wonderful way. So I'm excited to see y'all. This is going to be good. I don't know if you saw my post, but first of all, tag people in here. Anybody that needs to be part of this conversation right now. I said I was going to be more intentional with that. Please tag, please share. Whether you're going to share to your messenger, share to your page. You don't know who could benefit from this, y'all. We just came out of a really crazy year, and it didn't just stop because the year changed the calendar. Like, it it literally has left residual effects. And even before everything happened with Corona and Black Lives Matter, I just believe that we were not as acute or very purposeful or intentional about talking about this stuff. And that's my goal, is so that, you know, we do have these conversations. So it's good that you hear, but share it with somebody. You just don't know. If I know something good, I share it, because I'm like, you know what? If this can help me, if it can help you out, then why not like start a whole snowball effect of healed people? That's the goal. And I'm not saying that I can necessarily do it, because it's not about me. It's just about, if I can share something with you that I learned that can help you, help somebody else out, why not do it? So tag, comment, share, so we can get this ball rolling. Hey, everybody on Facebook. And, you know, I don't acknowledge the YouTube page enough. And then, so if anybody's watching from YouTube, hey to you too. But like, check out my graphic. I'm going to have speakers every Thursday of the month. And I'm excited because my first speaker, his name is Jared. He'll be here on Thursday, and it's going to be so freaking dope. I'm excited. It's going to be wonderful. But anyway, so I'm going to kick it off though, right? And yes, it's also Black History Month. So I believe that all of the topics I have this month are going to cater to both, cater to men, cater to Black History Month, and just cater to what my base is, which is talking about mental health, right? Okay, so what are we talking about today? Just in case you didn't see it, accountability or not. What happens when you hear the word accountability? Like, does that make you sweat? Does it make you want to run? Does it make you feel like, oh, here we go again? Does it make you feel shame? Does it make you feel condemnation? Does it make you feel guilt? Do you want to avoid the conversation? Or do you start to become judgmental and point fingers? I asked you a lot. I said a mouthful when I said that, because I want to know the triggers that happen when you hear accountability, right? Because accountability is something that we need in most areas of our life. I would like to say every area, but definitely most areas of our life. And it's not always easy. It's not always desired. And let's be honest, nobody wants somebody checking up behind them. Nobody wants to have somebody looking over their shoulder and making comments about what they're doing. But I'm saying that in this part of our life, if we're trying to be the best persons that we can be, accountability is necessary, right? It's necessary. And somebody, so I like to define everything. What is accountability, right? And I told y'all I can give you a Webster dictionary, but I really just want to tell you from what my thought process of it is. Accountability in a very basic level is saying, this is my journey, or this is my goal, or this is what area of life I'm in right now. And I want to make sure that I am on a good path towards my goal. I am hitting the marks that's necessary to get me to my goal. And when I am not, whoever my accountability is, they're going to make sure that I know that I'm not reaching those marks so that I can get back on track. Okay. And so sometimes we call that our accountability partner. We call it our accountability groups. There have actually been times and moments where you have to be accountable to yourself. So I'm going to talk about all those different levels, right? But I first wanted to talk about the triggers that happen when we start talking about accountability, because I believe that sometimes people opt out, right? They do, because they don't want to be accountable. Accountability is tough. It doesn't feel good. And oftentimes, depending on what the trigger is, we start to really believe that it's judgment and it's condemnation. And I just really believe that's how we associate to those things. So, for example, if I say I need to lose weight, there are some things I need to do to start the process of losing weight. And I first, in order to even get there, even get to the point where I say I need to lose weight, I have to admit that I am overweight. And I also have to admit that I want to do something to change it. Hey, Auntie Cynthia, love you. And so, did y'all hear those pieces I said? In order to acknowledge that I need to lose weight, before I can even do anything about it, I have to acknowledge that I am overweight. And then I have to acknowledge that I want to do something about it, or there can be something that can be done about it. And that's how you start accountability path, right? Because before you can be accountable to anybody else, you first have to be accountable to yourself, right? I remember years ago, I used to be on this whole path of self-acceptance, which is amazing and it's necessary. But I was so much on it. I was like, hey, you know, I am big and beautiful, and I without apologies. And, you know, I wish somebody would say something about this, because I was trying to build the confidence. And I did not feel like there was a one size fit all type of thing. I felt like I was not going to be miserable because I didn't fit into this box, right? And hey, Auntie Elaine, and so to make sure that I didn't do that to myself, I had this very loose sense of reality where, oh, you know, I'm beautiful just as I am. And so, although that was good and necessary, the other side of it that it did unintentionally was it caused me to be stagnant and stuck. So in the process of me feeling good about who I was, which was absolutely necessary. Nothing was wrong with that. It was necessary. But I, in turn, started to neglect the bigger issue. And I got to the point where I didn't, I would not look at the problem. Subconsciously, I knew it was there, but I was working on the other goal, which was making myself feel good and loved and beautiful. I did not address the concern at hand, which was my health, which was, wow, I let myself go, which is, oh my goodness, I am probably not at a healthy weight. Why am I talking about this? I'm giving you accountability stuff right here. And I know you guys are like, well, how does this, relate to me? Well, let's talk about it, gentlemen. Women are really quick to say something about how they need to lose weight, but men don't necessarily always say it. Men don't always talk about their health. It's almost like you have two ends of the spectrum, right? Like you might even have it where, you know, somebody's ultra fit and they're working out all the time. And then you have somebody that is like, they let everything go. And so you guys deal with that too. It's not a woman thing, right? And so the first set of accountabilities has to be to yourself. You have to be able to be courageous enough to look in the mirror and say, okay, I have to do something about this. So that's the first step of accountability. It is not shame. I did not shame myself. I did not say, shame on you, Paris. You look horrible. You this and that, and you should be so much better. It was easy to almost go into that because that was my past, was to get mad at myself and then go do something that was like, what do I want to use the word? What was the word I'm trying to say? Geez, I hate when I can't remember the word I'm trying to say. Do something that was emotion-based, right? Oh, I'm mad at myself. I'm going to do something right now. And it's like, it was no plan. It was just let me just do something to fulfill my shame and my condemnation and my guilt. And so I don't want us to associate that. And I used to associate that. And I would always go extreme when I did something. Okay, no sweets, no this, no that. And I really went all the way to the end of it because the shame, the guilt, the condemnation was really like, it was heavy. It was heavy. And I think that's why a lot of people avoid it, because they don't want to feel it. And I believe if you approach it the right way, you won't feel those things. You have to break the word association in your head to it, right? I believe when we start to do that, we can do better at actually saying, okay, this is my responsibility. I can't blame corporate America because my friends we eat lunch out every day. I can't blame the man I'm with because now he make me happy and I eat all the time. I can't blame my kids because when I cook dinner for them, they want to eat SpaghettiOs and fried food. I have to take responsibility for my portion. And if I never take responsibility and never have accountability, nothing will ever change. It starts at that very basic level. Okay. And once you could have that accountability and look yourself in the face and say, okay, no big deal. This happens. You know, I slipped up, or you know what, I'm not quite where I want to be, or okay, you know what, I have some goals and I'm not where I want to be with my goals. Okay, what can I do to readjust? Instead of looking at it as a failure, I want us to look at how can I readjust. All right, remember I talked to you about GPS. I love the analogy with GPS. Sometimes you're going one way and then like you turn the wrong way and the GPS will immediately say recalculating or rerouting. That's exactly what you have to do. You can't look at it as a failure. You have to just look at it as, okay, now it's time to reroute, and so now what do I do? Hi, Lawrence. And so once we're there with the accountability piece on our first end, men, I hope y'all still here with me, because that's how we start to not feel like our life is out of control, right? A lot of times we feel hopeless. A lot of times we feel like life is happening to us. A lot of times we feel like we can't control what's going on around us. And it makes us feel very helpless, especially if you're a man. I'm not saying that I know a man feel like, please don't take that. I'm saying I know that sometimes I can have masculine thought patterns or alpha thought patterns. So I know how I feel. So I can even imagine what it's like to be a man, to feel like you can't control the environment around you. So I think that if we change our perspective on how we look at it, things don't happen to us. Things happen, and then we have a choice on how we're going to respond to it. Okay. And then as we look at it and realize that we're not this helpless person, we can say, okay, where could I have done something different? Or if I don't know what to do, what can I learn to get me where I want to go from point A to point B, right? Or where can I readjust what my current journey is, or what my current route is to get me where I really want to go. And then if I can't do that on my own, let me pull in the necessary resources or the necessary people to help me to get there, right? So I do believe this is something that we all need to do better at, right? It's literally in every aspect of your life. You have to be accountable to your finances. You have to be accountable in your relationships, whether it be romantic relationships, whether it be friendships, whether it be, your parental relationships, your sibling relationships, your child relationships. Those are all necessary. You have to be accountable in, we talked about maintaining your physical shape. You have to be accountable on your health, right? That's a big thing, especially coming off the heels of Corona and very much still dealing with that. Really being honest about, am I at my optimal health? Am I doing everything I can possibly do within my meters to be the best version of me possible, to give myself a fighting chance, right? We also have to be accountable when it comes to our career, or even like in the corporate America or at our jobs, or even just if we want to be an entrepreneur, if you want to own something, this is all necessary. We have to be accountable when we have goals. Like if I know that I need to do some cleaning today, I need to make myself accountable. So for me, a lot of times I do a to-do list. Okay, what do I need to get done? Okay, today I need to do laundry. I need to wash the dishes and clean the baseboards. Okay, those are the things I need to do. And sometimes I need to make me a list to keep myself accountable. Sometimes another point of accountability, again, is for me to tell somebody else, like, hey, I have to do these things that I don't necessarily want to do. So if you noticed I haven't done it, remind me. Hey, Bonnie girl. Those are just, a few of the ways that we have to deal with accountability and why it's very important. We can't even have this mental health talk or this conversation, especially how deep I want to go into it. We can't really have it until we really like poke the bear about accountability. I wanted to drive that part home so that we know what accountability is and how it matters. I'm going to read something to you. I think that was really perfect. I saw someone say that some people look at mental health in the aspect of a luxury, right? Almost like we're entitled to have a perfect life. We're almost entitled to believe that we're owed health. We're entitled to believe that we are owed like a comfortable life where we have as much food as we want, as much money as we want, as much peace and joy as we want, to not have anybody die around us, to not lose anything. Sometimes I believe that we are here and to believe that that's the norm, and anything less than that is something that is wrong, and whether we caused it to be wrong or whether society or whether our environments created the wronging of us. I think that's the way we look at it will cause us to either be inactive and feel like a victim, or to say, you know what, I'm gonna look at it in a different lens and say, I know that I might not, hey Howard, how are you? I know that life is kind of dealing me some rough cards right now, but you know what? I'm grateful for the things I do have. And so let me just traverse this road and go on this journey called life, versus feeling like some kind of way we're broke. Does that make sense? Because I think too, when we talk about certain things like depression, certain stuff like bipolar syndrome, when we talk about certain things like PTSD or narcissism, it's almost as though the idea is that if you don't have a perfect mental health, which, I mean, there's no such thing, right? There's nobody that's perfectly healthy, either their physical body, emotionally, financially. There's no such thing as perfect. So the reality is, really, we're all striving. We're on this journey. And so we cannot look and say, well, you're happy. You're not depressed. You never dealt with that. You're perfect. And the reality is, just because you can't see their wounds, just because you don't see what things that they deal with and they stress out with, you don't realize that they have their own stressors, and it's nothing to compare. So just because you're dealing with your stuff doesn't mean that you're broke. I need to say that, because I think that's the reason a lot of men don't talk about mental health. It's taboo. And I told y'all the whole purpose of me doing this is, if we start having conversations, we're going to pull the stigma off of it. We're going to normalize this. Because if we start talking about this thing and stop making it a joke, and let's just say, hey, we all suffer for something. We all have certain things that happen to us. And hey, bro, you dealing with depression, let's talk about this. Or guess what? I dealt with it last month when I was, dealing with my child being sick. Or, man, I was having a hard time. I started having issues with my knee, and now I feel like my mobility has changed. Oh man, I was dealing with it when my best bro of 25 years stopped talking to me, and I didn't know really what to do. And I just really was caught up. Or man, my mother passed away and I really didn't know how to deal with it. And man, I was crying. I was having uncontrollable bouts. I didn't really know what to do. When we start having these conversations, when we stop making it that you're weak or you're a punk because you're having these talks, when we start to understand you're not broke, but you're actually engaging in a normal, healthy way, when we make this the norm, I will guarantee you will see how normal all this stuff is, right? People hold it in because they don't want to be looked at and considered as weak or vulnerable, especially men. Like I told y'all, I'm a woman. Though I'm not proclaiming to know what it's like to be a man, but I have had in the past. Y'all don't say nothing. A dominating personality, alpha, some might say, and so I know what I used to hate feeling vulnerable. I didn't like the victim mentality. I didn't want people to feel like I needed their help. I was ultra extreme independent. I felt like I was supposed to do it myself. I didn't want to cry. I didn't want to cry. I didn't want nobody asking me what was wrong with me. I didn't want to tell people I was sad or I was hurt. Because what they used to say back in the day, don't wear your emotions on your sleeve. You know what I'm saying? You better be careful. Don't let them see you sweat. Don't let them see you cry. And what I hate is even when I hate it. I tell you all the time, I hate when they tell little boys, man up at 3 and 4. Man up, don't you cry. You can't cry. You a boy. Man, what does that even mean? What does that even mean? They're not entitled to have emotions. Yes, this world is hard on them, but if they're supposed to be safe with their loved ones, where else can they emote? So if you're coming from that background, from thinking that you're weak, you're less than, you're broken because you feel or something doesn't feel right, that's not it. And this is a lot of times where, if you haven't heard of this term, toxic masculinity comes from, is the idea that you don't get the right to have emotions. You don't get the right to have feelings. And then you shove it down. You shove it down. You shove it down. You shove that feeling down. The last time a woman talked to you and disrespected you, you shoved it down. The last time you weren't able to see your child, you shoved it down. The last time you were denied a job and you know that you absolutely qualify for, you shoved it down. The last time you asked somebody for some help that you legitimately need help and they made fun of you, you shoved it down. And so now you have all these feelings that you shoved down so deep, it's kind of pressurized. And I always tell people, when you see people that are angry, they're not really angry. It's some other feelings that have been pushed down. And I believe that they just become pressurized. And because they don't know how to healthily emote, then it becomes and explodes. And then that's when you get anger. And that's when people say, oh, I can't control myself. It's not that you can't control yourself. You weren't taught how to emote. You weren't taught how to healthily express your feelings. And I know you're like, oh, here we go. Here she goes trying to shrink me. Here she is trying to talk to me like I'm some crazy person. But it's not about that. It's about being healthy. Let me help you out with somebody. If you as a man see another man giving somebody a hug, another man a hug, 2 men hugging, or if you see a man hugging his son or kissing him on the cheek, and that makes you weird and it makes you feel crazy, I guarantee you that you were not taught what healthy male emotion is. And you were not taught what it looks like to have a healthy exchange between 2 men. And if you feel like that basic level is, oh, that look, crazy, that look like they gay, or that looks like whatever your thought process is, then that's a real big flag, right? That's a real big flag, because what is normal to you? Is normal that every man around you does not feel? I've heard a guy say women have emotions, men don't. And I just looked. And that's when I realized, wow, we got a lot of work to do. I'm not going to use the word broken, but I will say it concerned me, because if that's what you really feel, if you really feel that you don't get to have emotions or that you don't have them, baby, let me tell you what that means. You're emotionally numb. You're emotionally numb. And I hate that for you. I hate that for you, because you've gone so long to the point where you don't think that you feel. And every time you try to feel, you push it down. And in pushing it down, you pressurize yourself. Think about a pipe bomb. Y'all know I love my analogies. Let's think about a pipe bomb. What happens with a pipe bomb? They packet it with all these um, dangerous things, but the biggest thing is pressure. And so what happens, they put nails and sharp things in there. So when it explodes, it's not just a bomb, but it launches these dangerous things into people's bodies so that it doesn't just do the damage alone of exploding, but it causes irreparable damage. The body's so funny. But I mean, that's what happens. So what does that mean? What am I talking about? Well, if I just said that you're pushing things down, it's kind of like a pipe bomb. So what happened is that when it finally explodes, sometimes that's when you see extreme cases. That's somebody that's pushed it down so much, and it's pressurized and it's dangerous now, so that when it explodes, it doesn't just hurt other people, it hurts themselves. They come away with wounds. The people around them are wounded. Everybody they come in contact is wounded, and it's so much so they want to stay away. And so then now you have people in this all thought process. I don't have any friends. I don't trust nobody. No new friends, no new friends. I don't want anybody around me. I don't trust my family. I don't trust people. I don't trust people at work. I don't trust anybody, because they legitimately have, sometimes they don't even realize they've pushed everybody away. And people are scared to come around because every time they come around, they're wounded by this person that says that I want to be in a relationship, but really doesn't know how to healthily be there. So then they stay away now, because now everything about your aura, everything about how you move, everything about how you talk says stay away from me. And so then you wonder, why is it that you don't have anybody that wants to be around you? Because everything about you says stay away. And so you're like, well, I don't need nobody. Well, and if anybody on this earth, and please quote me. Oh, please quote me. Anybody on this earth that says I don't need anybody, I don't need friends, I don't need people that love me, I don't want people to, you're hurt. You are. And it doesn't mean you're broken. It just means you're hurt. That's a normal part of life. We all are hurt. Just the same as if you get cut and have to go to the doctor to get your hand fixed. You cut, you got hurt. It's okay. What do you do when you cut? You don't just sit there. You go to the doctor or you go get it fixed. That's what you do. You check on it. And there's no harm in saying, I hurt myself. I'm in pain. And it doesn't make you weak and it doesn't make you less than. It just means that that's your truth in that moment. And guess what? If you don't take the accountability to acknowledge that, I promise you it will affect you financially. Let me say it to you again, brothers. Financially, because I know y'all like money. Financially, you are not going to make all the money you want to make if you ain't right, if you don't get your mentality together. You're not. And I know you're thinking, well, Paris, you're lying, because I know a lot of brothers that, they don't have friends. They're not even quite right, but they making a lot of money. Okay. Are they happy? Are they having a full life? Do they live a life where they deem they're successful? Do they have peace? Do they have joy? Are they able to wake up and feel good every morning about being here? Or are they just doing another task? Do they feel? Or are they emotionally numb? Are they just living life? Are they just existing? Or are they really like actively participating in their life? Ask yourself those questions. And I think you'll get what I'm talking about. You'll get what the idea of it is, that there's a responsibility that we have. And if y'all want to be successful as you want to be, make this money, live the life, have the stuff, it's nothing wrong with stuff. It's nothing wrong with wanting stuff. It's nothing wrong with wanting to be well off. I know nowadays people, it's good to see men wanting families. That's wonderful. Like, let's do that. Let's make sure that before we want a family to complete us, that we are being accountable to ourselves first about where we are here, how we are handling life. Bros, and I'm not, listen, this is not me attacking anybody, because if anybody knows, I love men so much. I have a special place in my heart for them. Real talk, for a long time, I thought I just related to men much more easier than I did women, but I realized that was a whole like trick of the enemy too. But more importantly, like, I just have my respect for both. Plus, I'm a daddy's girl. I love my mom too, but I'm a daddy's girl too. And so I just really, really have a lot of empathy for men. And one part of that is, so I'll never put you down, that's my point. I'm not gonna ever put you down, but I will say, man, y'all can't be out here trying to date and have a wife and have a girlfriend if you're not dealing with stuff inside, if you're not going to be accountable to yourself and where you're at. This is no shade, this is no nothing. I'm telling you, because nobody you're going to meet is perfect. And with knowing that, you have to be whole and you have to be healed in order, so that when you encounter somebody else that's not so perfect, instead of it triggering you and then y'all go, yeah, you're able to logically look at the situation, not run from the situation, and be able to say, okay, let me assess it correctly. Let me not engage my emotion and realize if this is something I want to proceed with or if I don't. That's what happens when you start to deal with these things, right? If you just push it down, push it down, push it down, and pretend like it's not there and you don't feel, then what happens is when something bad goes down and you do encounter somebody that is not completely healed and they trigger something in you because you don't even know what your triggers are, bam, bam, I'm exploding, I'm angry, man, I'm this and that, I'm popping off, and now I'm back somewhere I don't want to be. And then I'm blaming everybody else. You shouldn't have said that to me. You shouldn't have did this to me. You shouldn't have walked around me like that. You shouldn't did that. She should, if you're somebody who has done that, I'm not pointing fingers, because I won't point fingers. I'm going to say we've all done that. I'll say, well, they shouldn't, when I popped off in the past, they shouldn't have did that to me. They know how it is. They know how I'm straightforward. They shouldn't have done. And it's always they, or nobody should have. And I wasn't taking accountability and being able to say, you know what? Yeah, they did this, but I already know what my triggers are. And when I feel a trigger coming on, I need to be in a better place emotionally and mentally, where I don't allow those triggers to always take, right? You can't keep on learning a lesson and failing the test every time. There's a set point where you have to say, okay, you know what? I keep reviewing this material. It keeps presenting itself over and over again. There's comes a point where I got to pass one of these tests. It's time out. 2021 is the year of time telling everybody, oh, that's just me. I'm a loner. I don't like people around. I don't need anybody around. I'm a critical person. I'm just a harsh person. Time out for that. Time out. Time out. Take it or leave it. If you don't like it, that's all defense mechanism. It's a defense. It's something that's naturally built in you to say, this is what I mean when I feel hurt. I don't want to feel hurt. So instead, I'm going to tell you, this is just what it is. I'm sorry. We're talking about men, not the head shaking. This what it is. This how I live. You take it or leave it. That approach is not owning and having any accountability for your actions and how you move. And ultimately, you're not going to get far. You might seem like you're getting far, but it's almost like the idea where, you climbing that mountain and you're stepping over all these people to get up to that mountain. And then you don't even realize that when you're stepping over somebody, you got to the cliff and you end up falling back down. And now you got to come back up to the mountain, and now you're injured. And now you done stepped over all the people that should have been there to help you. Now they don't want to help you because you stepped on them. Watch how you journey this life. Watch how you moving. Watch how you're going. And I know some people want to say it's a dog-eat-dog world, but it's not about what everybody else does. It's about being accountable to yourself, to your own actions, to your integrity, right? So, I'm hoping that's making sense. I just want to us to realize why that's important, why we can't even start talking really about most mental health issues until we realize it starts with us. And you're not broke just because we start having these conversations. Nothing's wrong with you. You're not weak. This is all necessary. And honestly, it affects every single part of your life, whether you want to acknowledge it or not. Hey, Kenichi. And so when we get to a point where we start being accountable, it switches a light for us on, where instead of us feeling helpless, we're saying, okay, you know what? Maybe I can work on this. Maybe, just maybe. All I'm trying to get you to say is maybe. Maybe I can work on this. Maybe this is something I can change. I know I've been like this for 25 years. I know that my daddy was like this, and I'm like my daddy. I know that, I had to be the man in the household. And so I had to grow up fast. I know, but this is how I've always been. I know that. I know that when you were in school, they called you dumb because you didn't learn at the pace they thought you should have. I know. But with all of that, you can choose now how you are. It doesn't negate anything that's happened to you. It doesn't negate any of that stuff. So if you don't have anybody that lets you know, it's okay for you to deal with it. It's okay for you to talk to somebody. It's okay for you to just get it out. Get it out. However, I'm gonna tell you that. I'm here to tell you. Hopefully, I end up being, if nothing else, that annoying person that's checking on you like, hey, are you good? Sometimes, ladies, that's all it takes is for you to say, are you good? And really be genuine about it. I've said that to some people before, and they literally just let everything flow. And I'm like, whoa, I didn't even know this person. But I didn't stop them. I didn't judge them. And I listened. And I listened for real. And I've heard people say, wow, like I needed to let that out. Wow, I didn't expect to say that. Because guess what? It's some people that no one ever asks them how their day is. It's some people that no one ever says, hey, how you doing? But for real, how you doing? It's some people that in the course of a day, they don't get any human touch. In the course of a week, a month. So they're missing interaction. There's some people who are around a lot of people, but don't have intimate relationships. Everything's shallow. So they surrounded by people, but they don't have any depth to their relationships, so they still feel alone. So my goal is, maybe if you hear me talking about you being able to open up, just maybe you think about it. Maybe you think about life being different from what you've always dealt with. Maybe that if you are one of those guys that the only person you have opened up to was somebody that you was in a relationship with, but you haven't been in a relationship because you've been hurt for like the last 5 years or so, maybe it shouldn't take until you in another relationship for you to start healing. Maybe that's the reason you're not in another relationship, because maybe you need to heal first. Maybe your mom was the only person you could talk to and she passed away. Maybe you work on having accountability outside of yourself. See, accountability does not just have to be to yourself. Accountability could be like a team or a person, somebody that you can say, hey, like I'm working on this part of my life. Like you need to be somebody I can talk to about these things that arise. Because guess what? When you start working on yourself, stuff comes up. Some stuff comes up. And it's that idea of being able to deal with the stuff that comes up. The thing can't be like, well, I don't want that stuff to come up. I want it to be buried. That can't be it. No, you have to deal with it, because whether or not you believe it, that stuff is rotting inside of you. And it's spilling over into every part of your life, whether you know it or not. Whether you know it or not. So that's the goal, guys. I mean, this stuff I'm talking about is not just women's stuff. It is for all of us. We all deal with it. We all deal with stuff. We all have we all have stuff. We all have areas of our lives that we need to be managed better. And it all starts from this main processing thing called the brain. And the brain is connected to the heart, and it controls our emotions and our thoughts and our feelings. And we got to get that under control. And it affects everything else. I promise you, I'm so passionate about this because it literally affects everything else. This is not that positive, you know, mindset stuff, even though I believe in that on some levels too. It's much, much more than that. I mean, literally, how you think affects everything. And so, yeah, people are like, "Oh, well, you mean to? Are you just saying it's like, be positive and good things will happen?" No, it's so much deeper than that. It's so much deeper than that. I promise you, it's much, much, much more deeper than that because we are shaped by our experiences. And if you don't even know what filter or lens you're looking at life, you don't even know how you're moving. You honestly don't know how you're moving. You don't know how you show up. I really think one of the best things in the world is for people to tape themselves, like, and then go back and look at it. I bet you, especially if they watched it with other people, they'd be like, "Whoa, okay, that's how I show up." Because I don't believe people really know how they show up in this world until they step back and kind of come out of that moment and see. So my goal is for us just to be a little bit more intentional, to take that look, to be a bit more accountable, so we can have the conversations, so we can figure out what it takes to get us from to the next level, to where we want to be, and to not be constantly feeling like we're just existing. Okay. I have one more thing I want to say. I feel, I hate when I forget to say stuff. Okay. I found my little piece of paper. I thought this was a great, 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 great example of what I was talking about, some form of accountability too. Here's an example. It was a man and a woman that is married, and the man has bipolar syndrome, right? And if you don't know what bipolar is, it used to be called manic depressive, which means that you can go really high, your emotions go really, really high at a moment, and then it can dive down really low the next moment, right? It just means it's a chemical imbalance with how you feel. And so it was this man that was diagnosed with bipolar syndrome. And in the bipolar disorder that he had, one of the things that comes from bipolar is being hypersexual sometimes, right? This is for grown folk stuff. I'm sorry if your kids watching, but so what ended up happening was this guy was married, and he was diagnosed once he was already married. So it comes to find out he was having, he knew he was bipolar. He was trying to deal with it. He ended up having 2 extramarital affairs. And in therapy, he did therapy by himself, and he did therapy with his wife. And in therapy, he said that he used to really beat up on himself because he's like, well, he doesn't know really what to do, because he feels guilty and shame and condemnation for doing it. He knows that he did it, but parts of it is like, he's like, but how much of it is the mental health, right? The diagnosis, the fact of, the characteristics of the diagnosis. And then, so they were asking, where's the line between what you're diagnosed with or what the mental health issue is and actually your accountability to integrity, right? And then his wife was like, she really had a hard time with it because although she knew that he absolutely had this thing, she knew he was diagnosed with mental health, she was aware of it. Her thing was that she felt guilty a lot of times for being mad at him because she's like, I know this is his illness. But then she also felt hurt by the actions of her husband. And so I thought this was a really good case study, right? Because there's no wrong or right answer here, right? it's like, how do you look at that? How do you, where does the responsibility, the accountability come in versus the explanation of what the actual illness, some of the syndromes of it are, right? And there's no one answer to that, right? But it's important for me to give that example because I think it's great for you to make you start thinking about it. Like, you can't tell me that, you know, like I said, if somebody knows that they have a hard time with being, that they're having a hard time with their sexuality, as the wife, in my mind, I would be like, well, you know what? Don't put yourself in situations that will tempt you, or have a way out, or have an accountability partner. So if you get yourself in situations, you're able to say, okay, you know what? I'm here, and I know that if I get in any type of situation, it's going to go left really quickly because of my impulses. And so let me make sure that I am taking extra care to not be put in that situation, so that I don't put my loved ones in that situation, and I'm not doing anything that is opposite of what I say my goals are. That's not a solution. That's just something I would think. So you see what the balance is between saying I acknowledge that I have a problem and I have to work on it and a condition, but I also am taking accountability and I'm taking measurable steps. Like, for example, I'll give you a better example. Like I said, I'm working on my health and losing weight. I need to make sure that, you know, if somebody is selling banana pudding and peach cobbler, that I don't necessarily go over there if I know I'm trying to lose weight. Then I'm put myself in a position where I'm not going to behave well around it if I know sweets have been my issue. Okay. Hey, JC. So I hope this has been a good deep dive into why we have to get the accountability piece right for everything else to work well. You have to be able and willing to be accountable in your life in order for you to be able to move forward. Okay. So I'm excited, y'all. I'm excited about February. I'm excited about this month. I got some amazing surprises for you guys. So stay tuned. And let's see. Men, I'm telling y'all, I'm gonna prove to y'all after this month, I'm gonna prove to y'all I'm not just talking to women, and I'm gonna prove that this is, we all can benefit from it, right? And I think even after February, I got some pretty good, ways to tie some stuff back in. So I'm excited just about a lot of the things that's happening, a lot of the moves that's happening. But as I say all the time, and this is not just for women, I'm gonna say it to everybody, you are enough. And I'm gonna talk to the gentlemen this month, y'all. Women, y'all stay here with me. Gentlemen, you are enough. You know why? You're enough because a lot of time people make it feel like all you are is the provider. All you are is somebody that pays a bill. All you are is the protector. All you are is somebody that, is just, over there with no emotions. But I think you're worth more than that. I think you're enough. Even if you feel, that you don't really have anything else to offer, you are enough. How you are enough for somebody to care about this stuff for you. It's enough for somebody to, check on you. It's enough for somebody to ask you for real how you are doing. You're enough. You're worthy of that. You deserve it. Yep. I know you didn't think I could tie that into you, but I can, because we all need to feel it. You might not wear the shirt to say you are enough, but I need you to start listening to it, and you need to start believing it. All right. So I'm excited for this month, guys. It's going to be so freaking dope. So please, if you just come on, I'm getting off right now. Please watch the replay. I think there's some good nuggets in there. Please like, comment, and share. If you're on YouTube, please like, comment, and share. If you know anybody who's not on Facebook, send them the YouTube link. If you know people on Facebook, please share. I just think more people need to hear about this. This is an amazing topic that people need to hear about. Mental health, period. We need to get better. And so share. And I will be back on Thursday, guys. And I told you I have my guest speaker. It's going to be so dope. Please, you do not want to miss the live broadcast at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time on February 4th, Thursday, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. It's going to be dope. All right. Y'all having a great rest of the evening. Get some stuff done. Be productive. And I'll check with y'all. See you on Thursday. Bye.